My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft.
All right, sitting in the middle of the street, stalking in the path with light activity. There's a white Scion sitting in the middle of the street, monitoring. License plate 9KNT773. They're monitoring with the Ontario, the City of Ontario, that's monitoring with their lights, engaging criminal summoning like I just documented on video. They're engaging what is light activity in alignment to me. The entity is maintaining light activity around the perimeter. This is the ongoing co-conspirators that are engaging in targeting surveillance together. And this is key regarding that light conduct. And it's relevant to what is mental illness. I want to show you. I'll take a picture. This demon is just sitting in the middle of the street, gang stalking. All right, doing so with the City of Ontario. And this is the entity that does so as a population. And this is the entity that's doing so pursuant to knowledge of who I am. That's also why CEASELESS and the rest of those gang members are going to federal prison. These are the people that they're pulling over in traffic stops, stalking me together while they're engaging in the same conduct, stalking with light. These are demons that are surrounding everywhere that I'm going, every direction, surrounding with the method of light. And while I'm walking down, I was walking down HOLT Boulevard and at Emporia Place, crossing path with all these venues. The entity is stalking, engaging criminal summoning is what I see in the distance. And as I turn down and walk down a particular alley, you have this demon that's engaging what is loitering in the path on behalf of the state that's maintaining light activity. You're talking about when you would look at it from an aerial view, you'll see the demons of the Ontario Police Department, the City of Ontario, who are sounding their sirens just like you see and witness on video. They sound those sirens pursuant to monitoring, not pursuant to an actual emergency. They do so so while they also use their lights, engaging in what is malicious conduct, not an emergency, criminal activity. They're doing so while they're engaged in what they are not free to do, use those vehicles, use the functions of those emergency vehicles for criminal purposes such as federal stalking. And they're doing so in furtherance of murder. They're doing so pursuant to what is psychological torture. Contrary to what the government believes, that nobody, first of all, knows what they're doing, but second of all, that they can do it because of their identity and because of the entity that, well, you cannot even claim at this juncture that the Ontario police are engaging in anything that's harmless. But the entity would assert that outside of the lack of credibility that the Ontario police have, they don't have any credibility. The City of Ontario has no credibility. But I can concede, oh, it's harmless whether I sound my sirens. It's harmless whether I even admit that I'm just using my lights, so what? And it's not a so what, and they're not free to engage in that. They're doing so under the fake sun. They're doing so pursuant to what is a clearly identified system, which is corrupt. They're not free to engage in it. They're doing it while everyone is targeting. The airport is targeting. The people are targeting. This engineer light, you think it's a so what to be seen with laser light moving across the wall while you're driving by as a pattern, a whole bunch of demons in traffic doing the same thing. That is not a so what. This is showing the ongoing centrality of the light while they are stalking. And they're stalking using things like fire trucks and police vehicles and ambulances. They're doing so also using helicopters. So the people of the state are sharing in that criminal endeavor, engaging in what is mentally deranged behavior out in the middle of the night to hunt one person down, make sure that that person remains surrounded, doing so with that which is on its surface, not to she's sitting in the middle of the street and she's doing so for the entirety of my walking. It was a long alley that I'm on, one long street, and this demon is staying there the whole time, and I'm looking at, there's nothing obstructing her path, there's no traffic in the way, and the third party that's outside of the vehicle is monitoring with her. So this is an entity that's engaging in that while the entity is maintaining criminal surveillance. So blue and red lights are in relevant position as well. They are engaging in what is, again, tag team cooperative conduct regarding stalking with light around the perimeter around me, blocking my path with light activity. This is the alternative to that is the demons driving by me one after another, molesting with light. Another iteration of that is maintaining light activity all around. The fire department, the police department, the ambulances, maintaining placements at the corners surrounding me and doing so progressively, regardless everywhere that I go, maintaining a chain of light activity. That's the alternative to what they do. The other alternative is you see the fake sun over me and the demons are maintaining presence all around. Just driving in that environment, being present is light activity. This is how they're engaging in that. They're not free to engage in any of that. Okay, it just took the right person to let you know, break down what they are doing and what's wrong with them as they do it. This is deranged, and it is criminal, and it's serving a criminal purpose. All right, and it is terrorizing while they practice together as an entity absurdly demented practices, which are outside of what their roles are defined as and serving the purpose of. They're not free to engage in any of it, but this is what they're doing, and this is what the people of the state do, and that's why these demons are stalking in the middle of the street on behalf of the City of Ontario. They are third parties. So I want to document that. The entity is while I'm walking through the parking lot. I'm documenting Rosa and her gang stalking minor children, and they are gang stalking in the middle of the night as well while I'm in that parking lot. She's driving Benjamin's van with the Michigan plates. I'm capturing that in an image. They are engaging in criminal summoning. The entity sounds sirens as I step foot into that parking lot. These are demons that know every step that I'm making, and they create noise around me, and they surround me with light activity. This is while I'm then walking down this long street, and this demon in this white Scion, the box vehicle, is maintaining flashing of light. They're monitoring together. So I just want to break that down. This is the P.O.C. That's psychological torture while a population that is ostensibly on its surface supposed to be strangers is in fact stalking you and targeting you in particular, know exactly who you are. They know details about you down to your genitalia, and they are also targeting you in furtherance of taking your life. That's psychological torture while the population, who are the people of the state, practice this. And their deranged behaviors such as stalking you with light. This is relevant to what is the ongoing conduct regarding psychologically torturing the one whom they conspire to murder. The entity is not free to engage in any of that at all whatsoever. And the entity, it's going to be used against the entity, the deranged behavior patterns. They are going to be in mental facilities and in prison. While you're stalking with police lights and fire truck lights, you're going to wind up in an asylum. And I'm not exaggerating. That's exactly what's going to happen. P.O.C. It is currently 12:35 a.m. It is, by the way, Monday, February 9th, 2026. License plate 8 Mary Kelly Xavier 936, stalking at what is D Street and Euclid on the roads and the highways. That is again, yeah, 8 Mary Kelly, Xavier 936, and license plate 8 Yolanda Bob Perry 004, stalking on the roads and the highways on behalf of the Ontario Police. This is how the police are keeping me under surveillance through the people of the state who are stalkers, and they're all demons. They share mental illness. This is why I've been able to show you an identical pattern of conduct. 9 Charlie George Paul 579, stalking at D Street and Euclid Avenue, doing so at 12:38 a.m. P.O.C. Eight ETA 723. 8 Edward Thomas Apple 723, stalking, engaging in surveillance on surveillance cameras at ARCO. They're gang stalking me while they are at ARCO in relevant position at 434 North Euclid Avenue, and so is a third-party white vehicle at Chevron gang stalking me, doing so while demons are crossing path all around. They are taking shifts. This is an entity that's acting in sync with one another, maintaining presence in the path, maintaining light activity. The demons from Chevron are molesting me while I'm at the bus stop at F Street in Euclid. That's a stalker. Every single last one of them are engaging in surveillance overnight with the Ontario Police, who are stalking by helicopter and engaging in criminal summoning. It's another method of what is light activity all around while you are stalking and maintaining that light activity. It's P.O.C. And Chevron and ARCO are being prosecuted while they are making money, while gang stalking is underway on their property in relevant position to their property. The government's flying over there. They're going to be prosecuted for all of that. P.O.C. is currently 12:41 a.m. All right, surveillance at ARCO on surveillance cameras, and the white SUV is pulling off right now as I start recording. Their foot is on the, they're moving their ignition. I can see the white lights, the reverse lights. They put their car from park into driver or vice versa the moment that I begin speaking on my phone. They're monitoring what I'm doing, and they're monitoring with Ontario, the city of Ontario. American Medical Response drives by me, sounding their sirens, while this demon that is in a white SUV on surveillance cameras is engaged in prolonged surveillance at ARCO. That's ARCO engaging in surveillance, which I'm going to prosecute for. Okay, it's a P.O.C. And they're doing so with the city of Ontario. This is ARCO that's engaged in criminal surveillance, Chevron that's engaged in criminal surveillance, and they're doing so while AMR drives by right now to sound their lights and sirens. This is how demons that behave like sick animals communicate threats, conduct. The environment is communicating a threat, and also their behavior monitoring you is a threat, and this is what American Medical Response is doing. While the third party drives off of the property, they're on surveillance cameras. I'm going to prosecute ARCO, so they're not getting away with anything. This demon remains at the on surveillance cameras for a prolonged period, over 10 minutes, sitting there in their vehicle, and they drive off now while they are aware that I'm documenting them from across the street, while they are monitoring me from across the street, with the demons that are engaged in psychopathic pacing, the ones that are engaged in the same criminal conduct, while the Ontario Police use a traffic stop as a means of stalking. This is how the kidnapping occurred in January of 2020, like I stated in that video, Jason Knighton and Lester Keys. It is very much a threat while the entity is seeking to target you and is engaging in that pattern of conduct. Criminal summoning is very malicious and dangerous conduct for American citizens, where you are subject to what is a threat to your life. And also to your liberty. And they do so with the people of the state who not only share in targeting you in the conspiracy to murder and kidnap you, they are also there pursuant to what is bearing false witness, claiming that they saw or witnessed or did not see or witness whatever it is that the entity is seeking to accomplish regarding targeting an American citizen. In the same way that they're engaging in the pattern of conduct of gang stalking, they are there for the purpose of seeing that criminal objective to its conclusion, and it does include what is aiding in the kidnapping itself, aiding in murder itself. And remember, the people of the state that commit murder, that's the government that's committing murder. The government acts through the people. They're all puppets engaging in the pattern of conduct. So this is the P.O.C. This is breaking down an illusion regarding a free society, regarding privacy, regarding separation between the government that is governing over the people by consent. This is an entity that is acting in full capacity with regard to the cooperative criminal conduct of surveillance. Now, this surveillance system is becoming what is a means of murdering and kidnapping people while that population acts on behalf of, that is vicariously targets with the government itself. And I've shown that while they maintain the environment where the demon-possessed people of the state live, work, travel, and they do so with regard to the entity that is maintaining that malicious means of stalking you as a police department without anybody wearing a badge or representing that that or visually seeing, witnessing the presence of that so-called law enforcement agency. This is how police are stalking you, in addition to what is engaging in what is the conspicuous means of stalking, criminal summoning. All right, that's the P.O.C. The entity is stalking at Starbucks while they're driving. You can hear the traffic and the impossible light moves across the venue. They're all stalkers. All right, their headlights are not shooting to the side, and that's a driving danger if headlights actually did what these demons molest me with. And also, if sunlight did what these demons do, I've documented them threatening my life in the vehicle. The engineer light, the molestation is committed with an intent to do deadly harm. While I'm being accosted, I've documented it, stalking with impossible light inside of my car, moving across my dashboard, moving across my doors, moving across my wheel, while I'm driving the vehicle, the steering wheel. This is the entity that's engaging in that, and that is the entity that is stalking you. There is no controversy regarding all of the angles of showing that pattern of conduct that are already sitting on the record. While then you have CASAs and these gang members, and the gang members, literally the bat poo crazy demons who are not EMTs, they're stalkers, and the entity has a contract with the City of Ontario to engage in criminal surveillance while using ambulance vehicles. It does not get any more psychotic than that. They commit kidnappings with the Ontario Police Department with the intent to criminally defame. The entities engage in that while they're stalking on the roads and the highways. You're not engaging in what is something other than federal stalking because you have an ambulance as a means of the same exact criminal system. This is the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C, and they're doing so with regard to your ignorance. The entity needs the ignorance, and not only the ignorance, they need the subservient mindset. They need fear, they need intimidation, and they also need your ignorance with regard to engaging in this conduct in the way in which it is occurring. And the entities engaging, and that's the system of gang stalking in and of itself, ignorance and intimidation, while they are engaging what is surveilling you, and you're not supposed to have any sort of vote or right. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. So I just want to be clear, ARCO and Chevron are engaging in surveillance, and all of the transactions this is literally established through their business records, the money that they're making. They're in where I'm located and what I'm documenting, and that federal RICO case is going to also be used to prosecute them criminally regarding what is surveilling me, sexually violating me, criminals. And the reason why you're able to do that as well is because it's occurring when their employees are there. They're sharing in the same pattern of conduct. The fake sun is over me as I'm documenting. While the employees are there, it's not changing. While the employees are not there, it's not ceasing the pattern of conduct. It's not stopping the government, who are the people of the state. It's not stopping those employees who are maliciously targeting as well. I've shown all facets. They will be prosecuted. 24-hour surveillance, 24-hour bases of liability, civil and criminal. It's currently 1:02 a.m. and it's not just that company, Chevron. When the entity is engaging in gang stalking, that's an entity. Everybody else. One house on the block shown to be engaging in gang stalking, that's the entire neighborhood. All right, that's a prosecution of the city, the county, the state. All right, that's the entity that's engaging in that. It is currently 1:03 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 8, Paul Charlie Bob 526, engaging in what is ongoing surveillance. This is the pattern of conduct that the demons are engaging in the early hour, doing so while they are obsessing over me while I'm in the sleep state. And so these are demons that as I look down the street, they're sitting in relevant position and with their hazard lights on. This is monitoring, and they're monitoring while the psychopathic pacing is going on. This is not traffic, they're monitoring. They do so, and this is all relevant to the ongoing criminal stalking that the Ontario Police Department are engaging in. The Ontario Police are sitting around stalking me in relevant position, sitting around with light activity on. They're just doing it with the people of the state who are doing so vicariously, as opposed to it being Ontario Police vehicles sitting there with their lights on for hours. They do it through the people of the state. That's how gang stalking operates. This is mental illness that is shared by those who are unfit to be in government. That's why the people of the state are engaging in it. And they share the same infirmity, the same infection, the same condition, demon possession. License 8, Paul Charlie Bob 526. I'm arriving at the bus stop after 12 a.m. I document on my podcast. And
I documented on my podcast, and that was all before I arrived at the bus stop. So, in the midst of my being asleep, the people of the state park near me. The entity is all manner of obsessed and psychotic. Okay, engaging in surveillance at the gas stations, engaging in surveillance by traffic. All of them maintaining traffic is a means of them staying right next to me. Okay, but they're doing so while they sit at the gas stalls at the gas station. One demon after another, maintaining surveillance. They do so while they are, like I captured on video, the demons that's just parked next to the bus stop, next to me, wanting to be as close to me as possible. They're monitoring. I've documented the demons sitting at the bus stop, wanting to be next to me, monitoring, stalking. This is the entity that's doing so while the fake moon is up. Sexual assault and battery again. License 8 Paul Charlie Bob 526, and engaging in conspicuous surveillance. Doing so while they are stalking, okay? Stalking as a demon-possessed people on behalf of the state. This is P.O.C. These are sex offenders that are out engaging in what is criminal activity on behalf of and in concert with the government. Understand, the people of the state are the government. This is the reality of what the U.S. government is doing and what it is. ELZN 822, I believe. That's a paper plate on a white utility truck. This is the P.O.C. And I want to be clear, Starbucks is open. Starbucks is engaging in surveillance, sexual assault, and battery. The people of the state engage in surveillance, and then they just walk into a venue. They go into the gas station. They buy something or receive a service, and the entities engaging in that with regard to being facilitating venues, sharing in that criminal pattern of conduct, enabling it. That's supposed to be 7FJA8J. I can't really see the rest of that plate. That's supposed to be the means whereby you don't appear as though you're stalking. It's literally the transaction that is proof of your stalking. Not that you have to purchase anything. I document you. You're being prosecuted. Okay, and this is just my evidence that I'm maintaining. It is that which is supplemental to what is greater and a bigger, greater machine, if you will, with regard to prosecuting the entirety of the entity, okay? This is the prosecution of the U.S. government. It's not just the demons that are on Euclid Avenue. It's not. But I do maintain, for purposes of exposing in real time who is in my face, who is stalking. I want you to see these demons. I want you to see what they do. I want you to hear what they say. I want you to witness how they behave. I want you to see what gang stalking looks like. That's the purpose of my documentation. But it's the government that's speaking. It's the government that's stalking. It's the government that's engaging in this pattern of conduct, working through the masses, the multiplicity of people that I do document. Starbucks is engaging in that, okay? Starbucks is sharing in surveillance. Starbucks is a sex offender. Starbucks is making money while engaging in that. Okay, it is currently 5:45 a.m. under the fake moon, which I took images of. This is P.O.C. Oh, and by the way, the particular Starbucks is headquartered in Seattle. Starbucks, the corporation, is getting a whammy of a federal RICO case for conspiracy to murder and ongoing repeated kidnappings, etc. The Starbucks is located at 507 North Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California. P.O.C. Sexual assault and battery, 6WDE457 at Euclid Avenue. This is an overweight white woman, brunette, stalking at F Street in Euclid. Okay, sexual assault and battery. People of the state molesting, coming from F Street in Euclid to commit the sex offense over and over and over again. They do that by taking a particular route to molest. That's the mindset of a sex offender, by the way. That's the purpose of a sex offender, and it's for criminal monitoring. It is sexual assault and battery. 7 Edward Jerry Uncle 276, 7 EJU 276, sexual assault and battery, license 9 KFC 912. Sexual assault and battery, 9 Uncle Henry Larry 555, 9 Kelly Indiana Robert 496. License plate, 5 Wendy Robert 653, 6 Jerry Zebra Victor 994, 7 Victor Xavier 7 Victor Xavier Mary 590, 4 Samuel Apple Larry 583. License 9 Apple Wendy David 842. License 6 Victor Queen Henry 458. License 6 George Yolanda Zebra 561. 8 Edward 0 Uncle 011. 8 David Edward Samuel 219. Mary Sam Bob 0 Sam Sam. This demon with the black SUV MSBOSS Ms. Boss. She's a demon. She's over here and she lives in relevant position. She's committing sexual assault and battery as well. License 8 Uncle Larry Mary 381. License 5 Kelly David Uncle 684. License plate 7 Edward Xavier Yolanda 792. 9 Kelly Indiana Robert 596. It's a demon that was already ready to commit sexual assault and battery. This is the absence of coincidences, by the way. This is why people, this is, well, it's not only why, but this is the ongoing documentation that I've shown. The demons are not ignorantly and innocently or coincidentally engaging in what is the pattern of conduct where they live, such that they would be able to assert, I don't know anything about the fake sun, I don't know anything about the fake moon, I don't know anything about engineered light. I just live here, okay? I don't know the police. This is the entity, and all of that is legally irrelevant. It is proven the pattern of conduct, proven knowledge through what is the supernatural means of a people sharing in what is a supernatural pattern of conduct, a behavioral pattern in that specific environment. It is the proof that they do have knowledge and that they are sharing in that criminal conspiracy intentionally with the state, while the government maintains an unspoken system speaking to public corruption. The people of the state are engaging in the pattern of conduct where they live, where I am outside and they're inside. Even when I'm not on their property. I don't go on people's front doors and bang on their door and tell me, come out, let me get your documentation. I'm not going on their property and going in their backyards. I'm not doing anything. I walk on the sidewalk. I walk along the street, and the demons are engaging in coming out and creating what is activity. Doing so, coming out on their property. They do so while the fake sun is over me at their home. They do so while the fake moon, like right now, is over me while I'm crossing path with them. They come out as I'm documenting, engaging in what is the sexual assault and battery. Doing so seconds, but these are not coincidences. The entities engaging in what is stalking with audible activity, sounding sirens and stalking me right where you live by helicopter as I document your license plate outside of your home. They're sharing in the pattern of conduct. And that's what these demons are engaging in. And I've been documenting that for years, that you will be prosecuted in your silence. You will be prosecuted while you speak and say whatever you want. You're going to be federally prosecuted. LKRS 44. License plate Edward Charlie 27011. License 9 Frank Henry Yolanda 221. License 9 George Xavier Zebra 364. And what it also shows is that while they're being documented, they are very much unrepentant, unapologetic, acting with impunity, still engaging in committing the crime in real time while they're being documented. This is the federal government. Once the federal government is investigating you, you don't continuously engage in that criminal activity. That's not what the government, what the people do. They engage in more of it, and they're going to understand and experience the consequences of committing criminal activity while the federal government is in real time watching you do it. They're going to regret it in the courtroom. License G12713, and what they don't understand is this is the courtroom. This is the courtroom right now. 7 Nancy Tom Uncle 201. This is P.O.C. Sexual assault and battery. It's 5:56 a.m. $7RO9 701, I believe. Committing sexual assault and battery. The people of the state. This is the entity at F Street and Lemon.
This is the entity that's gang stalking as a citywide effort. As I'm walking on the street, they are crossing path, committing sexual assault and battery. The same demons that are, again, hostile because you're being documented, mad because the federal government is documenting you, mad because these are acts that the entity is committing while they are being prosecuted. And they're being prosecuted for not stealing candy from the 7-Eleven. They're being prosecuted for terrorism, for conspiracy to murder, for being an enemy of this country. And that's exactly what is being noted, the way in which also that they're doing it, proven that you are in fact enemies, you are a threat to the public. License 4 Sam Jerry Bob 726, sexual assault and battery. License 9 Apple Kelly 337, sexual assault and battery. License plate 9 Larry George Yolanda 800. This is P.O.C. Touching 88292 David 3, sexual assault and battery. And doing so with the Hensley Torta building, stalking in the path with the demons that are surrounding me with light, sharing in sexual assault and battery. This is the stalking with light, coordinated conduct by demons who are conspiring murder together. And they're doing so at the Hensley Torta building on what is Euclid Avenue. This is a demon stalking in the path while a demon comes behind me to engage in sexual assault and battery. They share in sexual assault and battery. And this is the entity that shares in that. I'm documenting those that are right here in front of me, engaging in that terrorism, that ongoing psychotic means of harassing you, surrounding you, and molesting you with light, surrounding you with means of light, making sure that you're surrounded and you cannot escape from them and their light conduct. They're going to be committed and they're going to be federally prosecuted. This is a white male. License 8 Jerry Frank Thomas 022, stalking in the path and going right to the facilitating venue, who's sharing in that criminal pattern of conduct. This is located at 621 North Euclid Avenue. These are the demons that are engaging in what is Uber. Documented, those are the same demons, and Uber's is also headquartered in California. I'll be prosecuting them. Uber's engaging in sexual assault and battery. You're doing so with Lyft. Lyft is also headquartered in California. Making a delivery, engaging in the pattern of conduct with the police is a means of what is the P.O.C. And that's exactly what they do. They do so under the fake sun, under the fake moon, doing so at while the entity is committing sexual assault and battery, and I'm capturing images of that right now. That is, I also want to be clear, just like every other company, Uber is stalking. Lyft is stalking, doing so while you're engaging in a transaction. That's a federal RICO case. You're going to apply all of the exact same facts while the entity is engaging in this P.O.C. This is the system that's existing, and this is the system that the entity presupposed would never be able to be prosecuted or proven, and that is absolutely false. Absolutely false. Omnitrans is gang stalking. Doing so at the bus stop, the entities engage in that pattern of conduct as a means of crossing path. Whether Omnitrans stops at the bus stop where I sleep at or not, but you have a demon at that bus stop with regard to stalking in the path, getting on the bus, the same buses that I'm showing, keep the fake sun in the window with regard to targeting me. All right, and Omnitrans is targeting now. License 1399981, bus 1267, sexual assault and battery. Omnitrans is a state actor. Omnitrans is a sex offender and engaging in terrorism. This is P.O.C. It is 6:02 a.m. License Edward Charlie 77 Yolanda 83. That's a paper plate on a gray Toyota Camry. On Flora and Vine, they're stalking with the government, engaging in surveillance in their vehicles, engaging in terrorism with the government that surrounds with amplified rumbling. I guess it's coming all the way from the Ontario International Airport. 39281 Paul 3, engaging what is stalking with the government, committing sexual assault and battery in doing so. And they're doing so in all of their homes, all of their addresses. And I'm documenting the people of the state that are outside maintaining that system on behalf of the state. License 8 Uncle Kelly Apple 748. Stalking with the government that's maintaining a means of amplified noise while a stalker is outside of what is 501 North Vine Avenue. License Edward Henry 80 Paul 66. St. George Catholic Church,
505 North Palm Avenue, gang stalking all around and on the grounds of that venue, sharing in sexual assault and battery, while again doing so being referred to as a church. And you will be prosecuted whether you are a police station under the fake sun, or whether you are a church under the fake sun, or whether you are a nightclub under the fake sun, all the same. 6 Victor Uncle Thomas 526, sexual assault and battery. License plate 6 Bob Indiana Frank 302. License plate 9 Paul Indiana Kelly 340. License 8 Zebra Henry Wendy 954. 21597 Henry 3. At 427 North Vine Avenue. License Henry Indiana Yolanda Apple Henry Hiya Hiyahh. Sexual assault and battery. And this is all criminal conduct and furtherance of murder. I'm documenting co-conspirators of murder with the government. 9 Larry Frank Henry 715. License plate 7 Larry 0 Charlie 134. 6 Uncle Thomas Larry 971. 6 Wendy 0 Wendy 015. License 9 Apple Bob Robert 948. License 9 Kelly Xavier Sam 966. License 8 Victor Nancy Zebra 838. License 5 Robert Indiana Kelly 511, I believe. 7 Thomas Uncle George 065. David 66 Zebra 26 paper plate. 9 Henry Wendy Thomas 976. License 9 Henry Larry 749. Sexual assault and battery. Co-conspirators to murder. Stalking with the state. Doing so with the entity that's engaging what is stalking me, and as I am going from place to place on behalf of the government, maintaining a terrorizing environment, stalking me with light, stalking me in this environment that is following me, and also doing so while repeatedly touching as sex offenders, preying upon me, looking to surround physically and surround with light while they're monitoring with the government that is using all means of what is amplified audible noise, like the sound of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I guess that's supposed to be the planes from the airport. 6 BIL 548, which you are never going to hear from the airport. That's the entity that's stalking to monitor you. They're monitoring you. License 8 Zebra 27021. This is P.O.C. And this is the facilitating venue, by the way, the entire apartment complex, all of them. Not just the ones whose license plates I recited. And they are located at what is 506 North Euclid Avenue. 506 West D Street, West D as in dog. A wealth of evidence showing that these are terrorists who are co-conspiring in my murder, gang stalking with impunity, no regard for being deported, no regard for loss of custody of children, no regard for prison, no regard for the damages that are going to result. While they act with impunity, I want to be clear, the criminal conduct is directly commensurate with the damages suffered. For example, kidnapping me and stealing my sleeping bag is no small thing. The entity is engaging in this while they're engaged in ongoing ceaseless surveillance on a ceaseless basis, and it's pursuant to a pattern. While I am suffering any form of damages, I am documenting that, and that's relevant to federal charges that you're going to be subject to. Meaning the enhancement to those federal charges is a real-time, ongoing, escalating feature regarding everything that I'm subject to and everything that I document. So you're going from, I'll give you an example because it is definitely not limited to 5 years. You can go from 5 years in prison to 10. I'm documenting the damages, and it will directly affect criminal charges. 9LGM 743. I hope you understand that. P.O.C. That's the City of Ontario committing sexual assault and battery with the Ontario Plaza Apartments, with the Del Mar I'm going to get the name of this apartment complex. They're committing sexual assault and battery. The City of Ontario itself, which is the government. License 7TLY248. Doing so with the same ongoing roarish sound just coming out of nowhere. That's the entity who are demons. The ongoing inexplicable roaring sound, like where is that coming from? These are demons who are stalking, and a demon of the City of Ontario, Paul Leon, okay? Every City of Ontario vehicle, every gang stalking government official, the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, Paul Leon is being federally prosecuted. He's being removed from office. 8 Frank Thomas charge 056, and Paul Leon's a violent sex offender. He's a demon. That's why demons fill the City of Ontario and use the resources of the City of Ontario, while that demon funds it and shares in engagement thereby. P.O.C. This is at, by the way, Vesta and Bonita, where I have captured the City of Ontario gang stalking using the resources of the city, but I've captured much of the pattern of conduct, okay? All of it, but I've captured a wealth of evidence, okay? Gang stalking on the property. I'm going to get sex offenders that are engaging in surveillance while the entity commits sexual assault and battery for the gang stalking purposes of demons that are engaging in surveillance where they live. License plate 7 Thomas Mary Jerry 649, 9 Mary Yolanda David 953, 7 Victor 0 George 574, license 9 Barry Thomas Edward 961, sexual assault and battery, license 9 Victor Henry Thomas 701, license 9 Charlie Nancy Victor 133, a demon from U.S.C, by the way, sex offender, demon, terrorist, all the same. License 8 Henry Charlie Victor 137, 5 Wendy Frank Xavier 623, 9 Apple Thomas Kelly 786. Surveillance on the property while the City of Ontario and a City of Ontario vehicle is committing sexual assault and battery. License 9 David Henry George 589, and they all share in that sex act while they're monitoring. 9 Apple Kelly Frank 335, and they're monitoring where they are stalking. Where are they stalking? They're stalking right where they live, which is a facilitating venue. License plate 6:20 a.m. City of Ontario is an ongoing co-conspirator of murder, and the City of Ontario conspiring my murder with outright impunity, which is relevant to those that are going to prison, by the way, from the City of Ontario, the Fire Department, American Medical Response, the kidnappers, those in the department, Avanath Capital Management, the demons gang stalking, and these are the means whereby I've documented very thoroughly the City of Ontario targeting me, and doing so with outright disregard for losing their liberty, their freedom for a prolonged period of time. 8 Edward Zebra Nancy 150, BSSWTCH, B, so Bob, Sam, Wendy, Thomas, Charlie, Henry. License Victor Sam Thomas 484 Charlie, 7 Zebra Larry Victor 009. License plate 8 Thomas Henry Edward 419, 9 Apple Bob Robert 776, 9 Wendy Mary Apple 718, 9 David Victor Uncle 136, 9 Paul Thomas Charlie 934. License plate 7 Robert Zebra Nancy 075. Sharing in sexual assault and battery. This is merely a reflection of those stalking in the path on behalf of the government, sharing in what is the inhumane and ongoing criminal means of what is the unlawful touching, sexual assault and battery while you're being stalked by the government that's using right now the utility vehicle of the City of Ontario, doing so while they're engaging in a function providing services to the city, simultaneously gang stalking and furtherance of murder. And all of those that are sharing in the presence and the path are gang stalking with the City of Ontario. P.O.C. It's 6:21 a.m. And it is the Ontario Plaza Apartments and the Vesta Del Rosa Apartments at 552 West Vesta Street, the entirety of that apartment complex. And that's just where I'm located, okay? And I've documented these demons over here in the ghetto, engaging what is sacrificing themselves, their household, their citizenship, their government benefits, any and everything with regard to gang stalking me, stalking in the middle of the street with their headlights on, facilitating, again, surrounding me with light activity, doing so while the entity keeps that environment around me, including while they're stalking with light, they're maintaining the environment. But I'm showing even in the sky space, the fake sun, the fake moon, the engineer light, my shadows grouped all around me while the entity is pacing all around me. That's not traffic, it's surveillance. They're pacing while the entity maintains light activity. It's these demons right over here in the ghetto, doing so while they're gang stalking at the torn down of Ontario Plaza Apartments, where the city of Ontario comes to commit sexual assault and battery. And they do so with regard to what is literally Paul Leon's own self-destructive conduct. They come to me to engage in it as I document it. It doesn't get any more direct with regard to the entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct. And the people of the state have been documented very heavily targeting me over here. So I'm going through and I read all those license plates in that parking structure of Vesta Del Rosa. All right. They're engaging in that pattern of conduct as the evidence shows, but I'm speaking to where I'm at and the evidence as I'm documenting on an ongoing ceaseless basis, very heavily stalking on behalf of the state, under no circumstances ceasing to or even in any position to feign as though this neighborhood's not a part of targeting with the city of Ontario. It's totally unreasonable. The evidence is showing that the people of the state are stalking, even out here in the ghetto where they can't pay their own rent, and they will not be able to pay or even live on a property where you have to get past the background check and where you have to get past the background check and not be a criminal, a terrorist, in order to receive government benefits, because none of them are. License 7 Bob Nancy Jerry 902, 8 Xavier Robert Zebra 158. The train with the light activity of City of Ontario. License plate 1726266, vehicle 5608, and the people of the state, license 9BBT015. That's a Latino male. Coming from all directions, license 7 Charlie Victor George 039. License plate 6 George 71756. That's the pattern of conduct. These are demons. And Paul Leon is being prosecuted for terrorism and facilitating terrorism. So I'm capturing images and you can hear it on the podcast. This is that terrorism that they're engaging in, and this is what they do in response to losing your government benefits. This is what you do in front of the federal government that's prosecuting you, documenting you. This is what you decide to do. This is relevant to Paul Leon's choice. This is what he decided to do. He decided to be a terrorist in front of the world while he's being prosecuted, and that is the basis of removing him from office. He decided to engage in terrorism, and with regard to what is facing federal prison, he put himself there. They put themselves out of this country. They deported themselves. They lost custody of their own children. They put themselves in mental wards, stalking with light, because you're going to be committed with this behavior. It's mentally ill, deranged behavior. It's psychotic, and it's also very threatening because of its abnormality and a population sharing in that deranged conduct. They're coming from every angle. This is terrorism, and they're stalking together as an entity. They do the same thing with regard to what is a conspiracy to murder, in the same way that I'm documenting, coming from my left, from my right, in front of me, and behind me, and the entity sounding with train activity. Those are the same. That's the same entity that's sharing and conspiring your murder. All of them. License 7 Apple Jerry Nancy 723. And that's the city of Ontario sharing in that. You already know that, while the entity keeps a fake sun over me on one block in Ontario all day long. And the Ontario Police Department, that's the city of Ontario. These are terrorists, and this is terrorism. And terrorists are going to prison. They're going to prison. You're going from stalking, emptying the garbage can, which you can't even do that competently without breaking federal law. You're going to federal prison. You're going from that to prison. License 6UEL 919, 7 Mary 0 Charlie 569. And everybody I just documented at the apartment complex are sharing in that pattern of conduct. They're all engaging in that P.O.C. as one. 7 Paul Victor Charlie 850. City of Ontario, crossing path at Ontario Village Shopping Center, as I referred to, gang stalking, emptying the garbage, doing so. They are demons that engage in that pattern of conduct in real time while they're obsessing over me. And my vagina, it also goes with the ways in which I describe what they do as they do it, and they replicate it in real time. License 9LGJ 845. Engaging in surveillance, sitting in their vehicle, going right into the apartment complex of what is Ontario Plaza. 9 Frank 29 Henry 81 paper plate, and it's a short Latina female representing the entity, going into one apartment and speaking to every apartment that is occupied, engaging in the pattern of conduct. And these demons can't even afford to pay rent. All right, they're not going to be able to afford defense either. And nobody, I don't care how much money you have, you will not be able to defend yourself. I'm going to prosecute you. 9 Edward Yolanda Sam 261. There is no defense for the intentional malicious conduct of what is domestic terrorism. There's no defense for it. But I'm going to let you know there's literally no defense for the gang stalking system. That's been proven. So the entity, again, stalking in the way in which I've shown the Ontario Police. Follow me from ARCO to Vesta and Vine. You're overtly engaging in that sort of desperate and obvious conduct. It's because they already know that it's over. And the fact that you engaged in that with that knowledge in front of everyone while you knew an American citizen was documenting it as well shows how barbaric, shows how much of a murderer, how much of a predator you are. This is not hyperbole. You've demonstrated that yourself. Thank you, because this is the entity that is not appearing as an angel, not appearing as innocent, not appearing as just doing their job and someone being hypersensitive. This is an entity that is clearly engaging in monstrous conduct and has engaged in a pattern of it, and is doing so before the world while someone has proven it with the ability and the skill set to do that. And it's literally the perfect forum to show and expose what are the terrorists, the murderers, and the kidnappers who are the people of the state. It is currently 6:29 p.m. Ontario Shopping Plaza. License 8 Sam Thomas Charlie 715. Stalking with the City of Ontario, and so is Dee Dee's Discounts. Stalking in the path with their lights on. This is the entity that's monitoring. This is exactly what Vesta Del Mar is engaging in. While the entity is engaging in sexual assault, this is exactly what the demons on Vine Avenue are engaging in. This is exactly what the demons on what are F Street and Euclid are engaging in while they're stalking in the path. And this sex offender, this is a psychopath that's engaging in the pattern. This is a female. She's a demon. She is out of her mind, and I'm going to show you what she looks like. She's in front of Dee Dee's. I'm going to prosecute Dee Dee's. And her license plate, while she's gang stalking with the City of Ontario, comes into the shopping plaza to facilitate that while I refer to the City of Ontario. This demon's license plate, a sex offender, 9 Uncle Zebra Charlie 342. Mental illness is overt, okay? It is extroverted. It is exposed. It is no longer closeted, in other words, while the mentally ill show their condition and they are simultaneously showing their criminal conduct. P.O.C. It is currently 6:30 p.m. Excuse me, 6:30 a.m. Alrighty, license 8 David Charlie Henry 228. 8 Larry Zebra Robert 360. 30409 Uncle 1, 8 Frank Sam Frank 074. Ontario Village Shopping Center, the pattern of conduct doesn't cease, so this is informing what this venue, and I've already got the evidence, but I've shown you, also spoken to the logic of what is a pattern of conduct, and my evidence also proves what is a pattern of conduct. But it follows that once you're engaging in the pattern of conduct, at the next place you're going to, as you're en route to that next place, the pattern of conduct is underway. So, and the evidence also proves that. And this is also speaking to what dictates logic and legal reasoning. They're gang stalking me at the entrance of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. They were gang stalking me yesterday at this venue. They were gang stalking me at the Vesta Del Mar Apartments. They're gang stalking me at the Stater Brothers at the Ontario Village Shopping Center. License 9 Charlie Charlie Robert 824, 8 Sam Thomas Charlie 715. And this is a delusional entity that's engaging in what is a failed act. There's no acting. It's absolutely irrelevant. Insofar as you can call me out of my name, steal my property or something like that, that's not irrelevant. But it is irrelevant how you think your facial expression looks, or how you don't address me, or you're walking in with kids. You're being prosecuted. They're fools. 5LRX 282. I will document everything that you say, because that's the government. The government that's harassing, the government that's engaging in what is laughter while they're conspiring your murder. That's the government that's going to be committed. Okay, that's mentally ill behavior. I find it hilarious while I'm stalking you. I find it hilarious while I keep your vagina under surveillance. I find it hilarious that you're homeless and it's a product of my target. This is the government, and this is what the government has exposed about itself. How wicked and diabolical, how maniacal, how delusional, how malicious. Okay, that's the entity. Those very same things that it has shown about itself while I've been documenting it is the very things that are going to be used, like you would in any other assessment, to diagnose their mental illness. License 7BZR251. This is P.O.C. Targeting at Stater Brothers. Again, this is revealing what is extreme means of tracking for the entity to be in the location where I'm at with this level of precision, in alignment with the sidewalk that I walk out onto as I exit, walking as license 9WQL388. That's a black woman walking out of the Stater Brothers on camera at 6:54 a.m. By the way, she's stalking. For me to, at the moment that I start moving, for you to pull up with that impossible light that coexists with it, that impossible light that's above my head, moving under the coverage, has nothing to do with the vehicle itself. It's a means of tracking, stalking with light. And Stater Brothers is engaging in that terrorism. Every employee and every demon that's inside of the store and the government's.
All right, at 6:55 a.m., that's when my battery on my phone died. So the entity maintaining the pattern of conduct and doing so as cowards that are, no phone, no recording, no documentation. The entity is equally foolish when they do it on camera, but the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct with knowledge that my phones are not capturing. So as I leave Stater Brothers, the Ontario Village Shopping Center, I do so with the fake sun remaining over me, and this is all corroborated evidence that's already proven to be fact, because this is what I'm documenting on a ceaseless basis, and it did not change when my battery died in the middle of recording what you previously listened to moments ago. So I walk toward the Ontario Town Square. As I leave the Ontario Village Shopping Center, walking in the back parking lot in order to get back to what is Bonita Court. The entity is stalking by the Ontario International Airport in the same manner that I'm capturing at night, where they are centering the plane activity not over the front parking lot structure, over the people that stayed in the parking lot. They're doing so over the back portion of the shopping village where I am located, walking on the back portion of that shopping center, stalking in the path, hovering with commercial planes, and doing so while the City of Ontario is stalking and maintaining light activity. This is that surrounding conduct by demons who are predators, who are obsessively stalking, tracking your steps, and surrounding you from every angle with light activity. Under the fake sun, they are all stalking you with light as well, while the entity is engaging in what is aerial surveillance, flying over me by commercial plane, surrounding me at HOLT and Bonita with light activity, City of Ontario, and at Bonita and Vesta with light activity, the City of Ontario, using a dumpster truck. They're doing so while the entity keeps the fake sun for the entirety of my route. The people of the state are monitoring, stalking, and sharing in what is surveillance. They are fully engaging in ongoing terrorism while they are stalking, and they are doing so also while the entity is aware of the fact that my phone is not working. That's relevant to removing my evidence off the internet while you're stalking. That's relevant to kidnapping me while I am obstructed, precluded from being able to document you stalking me, including while you're engaged in kidnapping. While kidnapping is in progress, the entity is stalking. West Valley Detention Center is relevant for disbanding. They are stalking me as a law enforcement agency with the fake sun over me. This is unprecedented criminal conduct, and this is the ability to prosecute and legislate around the malicious and satanic. That is the mentally ill pattern of conduct by the government. West Valley Detention Center is a sex offender. That's San Bernardino County Sheriff. West Valley Detention Center is a terrorist, and the venue itself is stalking me, while that specific environment, which I've already proven as a matter of hard evidence. And I've documented it on the surveillance cameras inside of the venue in real time. That's also relevant for understanding the specific environment where the demon-possessed deputies, the demon-possessed medical workers, the demon-possessed inmates are all engaging in the pattern of conduct in that same exact specific environment, which is relevant to what's going on at Stater Brothers, what's going on at the Ontario Town Square, what's going on at the bus stop, what's going on when I'm on the bus of Omnitrans, what's going on when I'm inside of the venue such as OVITT Family Community Library. It's the same pattern of conduct at San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. The entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct and is engaging in what is terrorism while they are stalking you, physically and stalking you with light, stalking you via noise, stalking you in deranged manners. In other words, these are the mentally ill who are monitoring, and they are monitoring in furtherance of the state objective to commit murder, psychologically torturing you in furtherance of that. Moreover, this is exactly what I'm documenting when I'm en route to the Ontario Village Shopping Center, because this is what the City of Ontario is engaging in, molesting me with impossible light, using a vehicle regarding the municipality that's engaged in criminal surveillance in furtherance of murder, and facilitation of that in concert with the facilitation of the people of the state to commit that and share in that, and engage in what is violating human rights and constitutional rights of an American citizen. The entity is doing that while I'm documenting Vesta Apartments in Ontario Plaza Apartments, where I'm subject to the pattern of conduct 156 North Bonita Court. This is the intersection right there where the entity is committing sexual assault and battery, crossing path, pacing, using a vehicle of the City of Ontario to do so. That's the government acting directly. That is the government financing criminal activity. That's the government maliciously targeting under the guise of engaging in what is on its surface supposed to appear legitimate, appropriate, expected, lawful, gang stalking as the municipality itself in that specific environment, which you are supposed to be ignorant about. That's getting to the malice behind what Paul Leon represents, the enemy that he is no longer secretly existing as and acting as. And this is the same with the people of the state who are enemies of the state while they target me. And this is showing the enemies of this country who are exhibiting severe hostility toward what is law and order, toward not targeting American citizens, toward responsibility and accountability under the law for doing so in the first place. The enemies of this country, just like foreign enemies, are hostile to that, and they engage in more documented terrorism. And this is what's happening while my battery died. So I'm walking toward back toward the Ontario Town Square, and the entity is stalking the entirety of that time, and that is punctuated by the entity maintaining the fake sun over me at the Ontario Town Square, which is already on the record, and that's exactly what happened today. The entity is stalking by commercial plane, and the entity is doing so in concert with the people of the state who are maintaining surveillance at that venue, doing so with the people of the state in all of the means, the commercial means, every venue, all the businesses crossing path on the roads and the highways. The entity is doing so while they are pacing in the parking lot. It's not traffic with regard to finding a parking space at Wells Fargo. Under the fake sun, you're able to see with your clear own eyes in plain view what are the demon-possessed who are engaging in what is a federal RICO crime while they are pacing mentally ill behavior pursuant to the malicious pattern of conduct, stalking, and doing so under the guise of being a customer in relevant position at Wells Fargo at 240 North Euclid Avenue, where they are repeatedly molesting, terrorizing, harassing with impossible light. While you're driving by, light is ricocheting like at an arcade on the wall, where you're monitoring me, one customer after another customer after another customer after another customer, where Wells Fargo is facilitating that. They are fully engaging in it. That's why Wells Fargo's venue is under the fake sun, where they are conducting business and being paid as a gang stalker acting in furtherance of murder. That's a federal RICO case while gang stalking by Wells Fargo's customers. And it is also speaking to the people of the state, which includes Wells Fargo's employees. It includes everyone in relevant position to Wells Fargo. Those are all the means whereby Wells Fargo is being federally prosecuted. Okay, the entity is engaging in this on an ongoing basis while I'm at the square, stalking by commercial airline planes over the town square, not flying over anywhere, and flying over the town square is not that which is in the direct path of the back parking lot of the Stater Brothers shopping center, of the Ontario Village shopping center. The entity is deviating, flying in a specific manner to get to that sky space, flying over me and stalking from place to place in doing so. And the entity is engaging in that stalking conduct using commercial planes at the Ontario Town Square, where Wells Fargo is sharing, and just like I documented last night, and Sarah's Regis Group Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments last night, sexual assault and battery. All right, they're doing so while they are monitoring me, and doing so while they are targeting someone whose devices of reporting it. My battery is dead. So that I just want to be clear. It's the entity that is doing so with knowledge that, oh, you're helpless. You can't do anything about it, meaning you can't document it. This is an entity that's already prosecuted. So the federal government that is watching me expose the U.S., that's exactly what the federal government is doing. They are watching me make the case, and I'm going to get justice, and they are fully aware of all of the details, even beyond gang stalking me in helicopters, and as a department that the Ontario Police Department are criminally responsible for what they've committed, and they are watching me prosecute in the same way that I started this case without the federal government's help, and I'm finishing this case while the federal government is watching that in progress. They are stalking by helicopter at the Ontario Town Square as I begin walking from the square at 224 North Euclid Avenue, fake sun over me. This is already on the record, time and time and time again, for a term of years, by the way, and the same pattern of conduct. The fake sun moves east to go back over the OVITT Family Community Library, where it is at 7 in the morning, like I just documented the other day. And as I do so, the people of the state, those who have been documented, including the serial stalkers, the African-American male who drives the red burgundy SUV, serially stalking, that's relevant for federal prison. The elderly white male, he's wearing a cap. He's typically wearing a cap, and he's with a toddler, a young female child. He's gang stalking me with this child as a means of pacing, as a means of psychological torture, while engaging in what is vagina monitoring, very physically affectionate to this young girl, where he's sharing in sexual violence against another woman simultaneously. He's engaging in what is targeting another woman, doing so with minor children, using them and exploiting a child while engaging in the sex offense of gang stalking. He's doing so under the fake sun at 10 a.m. with the Ontario Police Department, and also communicating a threat, doing so while he is also on the record, and I'm referring to this because this is something that I can, and the federal government that's watching knows who I'm talking about. So this white male, this older white male, is with a younger child, and he is under the fake sun in the middle of the afternoon. He's crossing path at the same entrance. He's waiting to go inside of the entrance, and you're looking at duration of time analysis with regard to targeting me specifically with a young child while committing the egregious sex offense of federal group stalking and monitoring, vagina monitoring. The entities engaging in that with regard to, again, the mentally ill who, again, you're doing it because I don't have my phone on. You do it when I have my phone on. You're already established as those who are going to prison, and it's going to be historic with regard to EMTs going to federal prison and being committed, with regard to police officers being prosecuted as terrorists, being removed from law enforcement altogether. They will never have anything to do with law enforcement, and going to federal prison and being subject to what are commitments, mental examinations. This is historic with regard to the same for fire departments, and with regard to the municipalities, the gang stalking mayors, and throughout the cities in California that I have documented. And I've also documented the Las Vegas, Nevada mayor, while I'm subject to the pattern of conduct in the state of Nevada and Las Vegas, by the way. But nonetheless, the entities engaging in this, and this is historic with regard to the manner in which justice is going to be executed, and justice requires that which I have already articulated, and it's exactly what's going to happen. So the entity is watching the Ontario Police stalking by helicopter. They're doing so with knowledge of the fact that I am not recording it, but I have a plethora, a library, a repository, a surplus of video evidence, podcast evidence, that is audio, audible evidence of the Ontario Police Department stalking me specifically at the venue of the OVITT Family Community Library, literally escorting me while stalking and harassing me as I enter that venue, while the demons that are employed here who are stalking, doing so as a means of employment, are engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they're going to federal prison that easily. But this is what the entity is doing while I'm not recording, so I do want to document that. The Ontario Police, as a matter of duration of time, this is relevant to psychological torture. This is relevant to what is the threat to commit kidnapping. It's ongoing harassment. While this is all in furtherance of murder as an entity, the entity that's engaging in what is sexual violence and threatening to engage in all of the aforesaid, while that agency with that documented pattern of harassment, malicious assertions, kidnapping, theft of property, damage of property, is engaging in what is stalking me by helicopter, and they're monitoring. Remember, they're not just stalking physically, they are monitoring. They're monitoring with regard to surveillance and furtherance of murder. They're engaging in a mentally ill behavioral pattern with the people that say, all of them surrounding me at that entrance, including this old white man with the young child who's in a stroller. She's a female, and he has previously documented gang stalking me at this same venue in the middle of the afternoon, where in the natural environment the sun is not going to be at the same entrance like I'm documenting, from 10 a.m. until, let's say, 3, 4, 5 p.m. at the same library. This is what's already on the record. So the entity is targeting with everybody that's at that entrance, and they're doing so as a means of what is retaliation, harassment, hostility, while the entity is taking advantage of the fact that I'm not recording it and I don't even need it. The world has already witnessed the prosecution of the state of California, the city of Ontario, the people of the state. They're sitting back, waiting and getting their popcorn ready to watch it happen and unfold in court. And this is my courtroom. So you're talking about the formal process in a tribunal. Okay, that's what they're waiting on. They've already witnessed it, and everyone already knows, and they've all heard the prophetic message about what's happening to them. Everyone already knows. So the entities engaging in this with regard to their own delusional efforts, everybody, that's what they're basically dead men walking And they're all gang stalking because they're angry about the fact that they are all dead men walking. So the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct under the fake sun as I walk from the Ontario Town Square to the OVITT Family Community Library. You're mindful, this is 10 a.m., you're mindful of Kelly Blacken, who's gang stalking at this same venue at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're mindful of Taylor, who's gang stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library, where I'm documenting at 8 o'clock in the morning. You are mindful of Gregory, who is gang stalking by opening up the entrance doors with the Ontario Police Department, stalking me by helicopter. I'm being terrorized and chased down into the entrance doors where Gregory is opening up the entrance doors of that venue. Gregory is a demon that works into the afternoon, into the evening where the fake sun remains. Gregory is specifically targeting me by place of employment. Gregory is subject to federal prison on multiple bases. But this is what the entity is doing this morning. I'm just giving you an example regarding what the entity is doing and what I am able to easily rattle that off because it's federal prison the same. These are demons that know that they're going to prison, and the entity is engaging in what is ongoing mentally ill behavior. This is speaking to what is affecting all the rest of the body of laws that address law enforcement, policies that touch on the subject, the issue of law enforcement, and the distinction between what is law enforcement and what is surveillance as it's been proven, and how the court system is facilitating criminal surveillance and what is necessarily changing. You're not talking about giving discretion to maniacal psychopaths because that's what the court system has been providing. Through what is precedent, court cases relying upon letting murderers and kidnappers, those who are serially abusing American citizens and doing so while benefiting off of what is case law, to support what is unfounded, warrantless, baseless, unprecedented, dangerous legitimacy given to those who engage in things such as stalking an American citizen by helicopter because they are enforcing their rights, because that agency wants to continue engaging in vagina monitoring. Okay, so Kelly Blacken, Mary Bly, Yesenia Rivas, Myra, and you have what is the entity that is gang stalking with the City of Ontario social worker. She has an office inside of this venue as well. I believe her name is Christina. I don't need to know her name. She's part of the City of Ontario. She's inside of the venue, and she is here on Mondays and Wednesdays. They're all sharing in what is gang stalking me by helicopter, and you go to prison for that. They're doing so while Kelly Blacken opens the door, while the entity is engaging in what is psychological torture. They're engaging in retaliation. They're engaging in what is an unlawful threat, communicated expressly and impliedly. They're doing so while they are keeping the evidence under the surveillance, and that is a poignant, direct threat to my life, my liberty, my well-being, and my safety, because OVITT Family Community Library is engaged in sexual violence just like they committed again today. Even before the sex offender that wants to be next to my exposed vagina in the bathroom entered in and engineered light on behalf of that gang stalking police department and every vagina monitor inside of the building, including Mary Bly, Yesenia Rivas, Myra, Kelly Blacken, and the entity and the Ontario City of Ontario and social worker. This is a demon that's engaging in criminal activity under the guise of some title where she's actually unfit. She's not an actual social worker. These are criminals and frauds who attain positions to engage in public corruption. Okay, so this is what the entity is engaged in. This gang violence is relevant to who I am because the entity has found itself to be inferior because they're delusional, telling and lying to themselves and listening to Satan puff them up so that they can be taken down. Pride comes before the fall. They were never elite. They were never capable. You were never a formidable adversary, by the way. Satan is using you, and Satan is going to take you out, knowing that you were never going to be successful in sacrificing me. You sacrificed your right mind, and you sacrificed your liberty. And I'm taking all the money that belongs to me in the first place. The entity is engaging in this pattern of conduct, and they're doing so while they're engaging in bathroom monitoring. These are sex offenders that are obsessed with me while they worship me, but they're also hateful while they are hostile to being exposed as being obsessed with me and worshiping me. That's the reality of what's wrong with them. This is how you have the entity that's stalking, that's born of obsession, but this is an entity that's stalking you and wants to also murder you. That's the psychopathic woman beater. He tells you that he loves you, or she tells you that she loves you, but she's beating you to a pulp. That's not love. And that, by the way, that's a spirit. This is what an entity is doing with regard to violence that is practiced as an entity. And the entity is engaging in this while it is being documented. And it is no less documented and no less probative while I plug my phone up and recite what the entity was doing, which is already corroborated. It's already supported by long-time existing evidence. The pattern of conduct that they repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Everyone already knows. And in addition, I am not the only one that's maintaining this investigation. The entity is being investigated while I conduct my public investigation. All right, so the entity is engaging in what is an embarrassing takedown in front of the world. And this is relevant to what is an epic, Christ-ordained return to sender. Okay, the demonic Satan never wins. And no vagina monitor is ever going to be successful against me. Okay, your mental illness is proven by your perpendicular shadows on the ground and above your head. You are bat poo crazy. You're going into a facility for 23-hour lockdown. You're not defaming my character or taking a dollar that belongs to me. You're delusional. This is an entity that's gang stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library, and these employees are sharing in that the City of Ontario is engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they're stalking with regard to targeting while I do not have my phone powered on because my batteries died. And this is relevant to damages, okay? The entity that committed kidnapping on February 4th, 2026 remains in custody of my property that has all my chargers, my power banks. They threw away my means of staying warm overnight, which is adding to what is stress, the inability to sleep, on top of the fact that the entity is stalking and monitoring. So this is animalistic conduct. Everything's louder than it naturally is. The light activity is relevant to the ongoing molestation that I'm subject to while these demons that worship me are engaged in what is molesting while they're monitoring me. This is relevant to the entity that's adding on to damages that I continuously suffer, including not being able to protect myself and document in real time on an ongoing basis because I diligently keep my guns, as I refer to them, my phones, charged up, and I capture all of the crime. But that's okay. It's not okay because they're not getting away with it, but that's okay because I'm still able to capture the pattern of conduct. This is relevant to damages, though. Any and every way that the government is interfering with a federal investigation on itself, they're going to learn how severe those penalties are. The entity is stalking by helicopter at the entrance as I'm waiting for Kelly Blacken, who opens the door, and she does so gang stalking me, and is also a psychopath being gratified by gang stalking with the Ontario Police. These are psychos. There's nothing victorious about that. You're going to prison. So while you're walking around looking all sweaty, engaging, masturbating while you're monitoring my vagina, and then you're hostile because you're being documented as a sex offender, appropriately so, you're engaging in that P.O.C. while the Ontario Police are stalking by helicopter, psychopathic pacing over the OVITT Family Community Library under the fake sun. Remember, I'm coming to this venue yesterday afternoon at 1 p.m. This is already on the record. This is already on the record. You already know that. But this is the ongoing pattern. Ontario Police are stalking by helicopter while my phone is dead, and doing so for about 3 to 4 minutes, 9:56 to 10:01. Kelly Blacken doesn't even open the door on time at 10 a.m. The door is opened at 10:01 a.m. after the Ontario Police did a couple of laps while the entity is communicating a threat that's also psychologically harmful, and the entity is going to prison for not only gang stalking but the psychological torture that is ongoing, inherent to the pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:56 a.m. And the Ontario City Hall, the Ontario Fire Department, American Medical Response, that is the City of Ontario, the municipality itself are sharing in the criminal activity while I'm subject to it by the demons of relevant position at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is all criminal conduct that the entirety of the city, the mayor, is committing. Understand that. This is a population. So the cockroaches that are around me, this infestation, in need of a raid, and it's coming, they are coming, is engaging in conduct on behalf of an entity. This is a statewide pattern of conduct. Alrighty, it is 10:57 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, I also want to include Jana. Jana is a long-term gang stalker as well, engaged in the conspiracy to murder me for a series of years, documenting her stalking me with light, that's mentally ill behavior, and engaging in the perpetual sex offense for years. She's a violent sex offender. And she is gang stalking me with the Ontario Police Department, threatening my life and safety and well-being, and doing so with the intent to retaliate and intimidate, threaten, and also with the intent to obstruct justice. Jana is here gang stalking with that City of Ontario as well. P.O.C.
This call may be monitored or recorded. please listen to all your choices before making a selection. If you know your party's extension, please dial it now. If you are witnessing a non-emergency situation occurring now, press 2 to be connected to police dispatch. Wait while I transfer your call.
Ontario, please.
Hello? Hi,
Can I help you?
yes, is the Ontario Police Department correct?
What can I do for you?
I'm looking for, I need the evidence department, I believe.
Hold on just a moment.
Thank you.
You have reached the Ontario Police Department Property and Evidence Division. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We make appointments on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Please leave your name, phone number, and case number, and we will call you back. Thank you.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Ontario, please.
Hi, I'm looking for the evidence department, but I'm not getting any response. Do you know, are they in?
Ma'am, if they don't answer, you'd have to leave them a message and they'll call you back.
Yeah, I don't have a number that they can call me back on. They have my property. So I just wanted to confirm they are available today, right?
That I would not be able to confirm for you, but yes, they are normally open on Mondays.
Okay. All right, thank you. Can you, oh, I'm sorry, can you transfer me one more time, please?
Sure, hold on.
Thank you.
You have reached the Ontario Police Department Property.
Alrighty, it's 12:17 p.m. This is again an ongoing edition regarding the entity that is gang stalking, and it does include the gang stalking employee Mickey, very heavily documented, engaging in what are acts of retaliation. In her sick, demented mind, she's going to prison, and she can sit in her cell and cackle about it when she finds being prosecuted federally as a terrorist and a sex offender. Humorous, okay? These are psychopaths that derive pleasure out of the sufferings of other people. They're demons. This is where this is coming from. It's a spirit, and this spirit's engaged in criminal activity as an entity. And Mickey is a part of what is the unlawful threat gang stalking me with the Ontario Police, who specifically target me at the OVITT Family Community Library, doing so under the 10 a.m. fake sun. Mickey is under the pacing around like a psychopath, like she is now, while she is pacing after 5 p.m. on orange amber engineer light that's on this floor over here near me on computer number 1. That ridiculousness, which is relevant to diagnosing her severe mental illness, which is no longer closeted, is already on the record. She's also gang stalking at 8:38 a.m. with the same gang members of the Ontario Police Department pursuant to criminal summoning. The same tactic that was utilized last night, stalking me in concert with the people of the state. Just want to make sure that Mickey's documented. She's engaging in that P.O.C. this morning. It is 12:18 p.m. at OVITT Family Community Library. Criminal summoning at 12:24 p.m. by all of the aforementioned defendants. That would also include the IT tech. You'll see them documented in images. That's Alan. Alan is gang stalking at the circular desk where they're all stalking in the path. So they go to the desk where they anticipate me to go, leaving the conference room, the study room area, after again Myra is gang stalking by coming over and telling me, oh, your time is up, you need to exit. It's all gang stalk, it's all criminal monitoring, stalking in the path, light activity, audible activity. And remember, Alan's a part of kidnapping on June 16, 2022. So all the future prison inmates are gang stalking at the circular desk. The entity is at 12:25 p.m. engaging in criminal summoning. They're all a part of the entity gang stalking by the Ontario Police Department. I don't know what, but these are feces consumers and vagina monitors, and so in their minds, again, it's only in their minds, not in reality, future prison inmates are hanging out as though there's something cool with regard to being a demon, being a psychopath, being a sex offender, being a murderer. And you're not even good at it, and you're hostile because you are caught playing your own mentally ill and deranged game. And not only that, you're engaging in gang violence, which is going to put you, I will use your work schedule, you're going to prison. So this is what the entity's doing. They are part of what is stalking with the Ontario Police this morning. This is the pattern of conduct. It's 12:25 p.m.
You have reached the Ontario Police Department Property and Evidence Division. Hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Make appointments on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Please leave your name, phone number, and case number, and we will call you back. Thank you.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Good afternoon. My name is Erica Spencer, and I'm calling with regard to case number 260200115. I believe I'm looking at the number if that's legible or not. Let me confirm. It's 260200115, I believe. Again, my name is Erica Spencer, and I am calling about my property. I have not been able to reach anyone, so I wanted to leave my phone number. If you could give me a call back and let me know the soonest that I can make an appointment to pick up my property that was seized on February 4th, 2026 by Craig Hazelwood and Owens of Ontario Police. I would prefer a Tuesday appointment, but I'll take as soon as possible. Again, this is Erica Spencer calling. Thank you.
This is all state action. First of all, these are demons. This is demon possession. These are the fruits of demon possession. The stalking, the desire to stalk, the addiction to stalking, the obsession with stalking, the obsession with me, lurking around on behalf of the government, and they are in the shoes of the government, stalking in the path with the method of light activity. And this is the unlawful threat posed by the government, and they will be going to federal prison, just like those in government positions who are going to prison, as I'm documenting them, engaging in this is a criminal conspiracy to commit murder. We want to move now. Sexual assault and battery. License plate. These are sex offenders stalking on behalf of the city of Ontario. This is the same demon with no license plate. So I have his image and I have his record of stalking me. He's engaging in sexual assault and battery at Vine and this is Vine and Vesta. Doing so at what is 10:02 p.m. He is stopping in the middle of the street. This is speaking to what is instead of proceeding around. If you're dealing with a stranger, that's weird. You're fearful of your safety. Why aren't you just proceeding? His windows are down and he's speaking out. You can hear him in the background. This is a stalker that's communicating with me, whom he's familiar with, repeatedly stalking. He's been engaged in harassment as well. This is the third party that's intentionally stalking without any license plates. And this is on behalf of the Ontario police, who are stalking as well, following me to this location from ARCO last night, 12 o'clock in the morning. That ongoing psychopathic stalking issue is what is shared by the Ontario Police Department, and that is why that department is being shut down as well as the stalking by the Ontario International Airport, P.O.C.